Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to Calkine TV. This is Sage, and you're watching the Executive Corner Expert Talks. And today's guest is Mr. Mark Curry, the founder and CEO of Savvy Beverages. And in today's show, we're going to learn more about how Savvy Beverages contributes to the healthy future of Australians by enriching their minds and bodies with essential nutrients required for enhanced mental and physical performance. So in today's show, we have Mr. Mark Curry, founder and CEO of Savvy Beverages. Welcome, Mark.
Hi, Sage. Thanks so much.
Well, with your experience in the health and nutrition industry, I'm keen to share your insights on the show, so let's get started. Mark, you have teamed up with some of the brightest minds in nutrition science and health in Australia. What, in your opinion, is balanced energy, please?
So, balanced energy for us is just being able to get through life in the healthiest possible way. So it's not being overstimulated as a lot of the products in the market currently do. It's also not being, succumbed by stress or low mood. So what we initially did with Savvy and what we tried to do when we created the idea of balanced energy was we thought that stress, low mood and anxiety are some of the most common deterrents to productivity, creativity and just generally energy and drive. So what we tried to do is reimagine the concept of an energy drink. We filled it with ingredients that actually have nutrient value. They're called adaptogens and nootropics. I'll get into that later if you like. But the idea is balanced energy. It's designed to help you tune out the noise and just get back to being you and just get more done by fueling your brain with nutrients required just to feel better, do more and stress less.
Fantastic. That sounds great. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but what you're saying is even whilst we're snacking, we can be gaining nutrients for our body that we can use and benefit from. Would you please elaborate on the ingredients that are used by Savvy Beverages to boost mental performance, please?
Yeah, gosh. Well, there's quite a lot. I almost feel like I need to grab a bottle or grab some of the actual products to go ahead and have a look at it. But effectively what's in it is there's quite a few herbal powerhouses that we've used. But what's really important is using them at the amount required by science to actually have a benefit. So our nutritionists were really, really full with this point. And this is how we actually got an appropriate formula that works. Is some people would try and utilize a product and only put a small amount of ingredients in and expect a larger benefit. And we know that's not going to work. So what we've done instead is use the ingredients at the amount required by science. Some of them you may have heard of, ashwagandha, Panax ginseng, rhodiola rosea, L-theanine, green tea extract. We only use natural and organic ingredients. B vitamins 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 12, vitamin C, and in the drink we also have a particular kind of creatine, and in the coffee we have lion's mane mushroom. But in the future we might need to discontinue that because the Therapeutics Goods Association at the moment isn't happy with products with lion's mane mushroom.
Okay, very interesting insights there. Thank you so much. Now, coffee is a favourite to many, being a social beverage. We enjoy it at work, home, at the cafe, but too much can have negative side effects. And I think you mentioned an overstimulus in many products.
Yeah, exactly.
You have some good news for coffee drinkers, however. What are the different benefits of your conscious coffee?
So I guess there's quite a few different things to discuss here. With coffee in general, a lot of people don't realise that only 3% of what's on the market in Australia is organic coffee, which means 97% is what we call conventional coffee. And conventional coffee is one of the most heavily sprayed crops. Tea and coffee, unfortunately, are heavily sprayed with herbicides, fungicides, pesticides, insecticides, etc., etc., etc. These are not healthy for the human body. They're intended to kill insects, to kill bugs, to kill weeds. So they're not particularly good for us to be eating, but we don't get the opportunity to give our beans a scrub before the barista goes ahead and grinds them up and gives us a cup. So unfortunately, we're taking on board 500 to 1,000 chemicals, which aren't really meant for human consumption. So we try to always go organic. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's much healthier. We take it a step further and we always make sure that our coffee beans are fair trade. The reason why is our farmers deserve, and their communities deserve, fair trading, and also just not exploitation, which unfortunately can happen. We've read about it on the news. I'm not going to go about it here, but it's one of the things we try and do from a conscious standpoint. But then we also realized, even with these two attractive things, it's still just going to be a coffee. So we wanted to make it better again. And we realized that by adding additional ingredients to coffee, you can make it so much better. You can actually elongate the effects of the caffeine release. You can make the energy last for longer. You can increase that boost or good feeling you get from caffeine, so you get more of a mood boost. And for some people, they don't really like drinking too much coffee because they find it gives them jitters, or they feel overstimulated and they can't really focus properly. So we thought, what can we go ahead and put in to make it better for improved focus, so you get the benefits but none of the side effects? And so that's what we've effectively done. We've combined it with ingredients that help just to improve that focus element, improve a heighter sense of mood, so you get all of that lift that you want, but also have increased supplements that reduce stress, so reduce cortisol from the root source. So all of a sudden, it's an entirely different effect of caffeine. So basically, the idea is you can enjoy coffee, but also enjoy these additional benefits, so you can really just hone in on what you need to get done that day. I know it's a mouthful and a half, but it's a brand new concept. We're still trying to figure out how to make all the science sound sexy. I'm sure in time the marketing team will have a play and figure out exactly what needs to be said, but we're effectively one of the only companies in the world that are doing this. So as far as I know, the first in Australia, which is great. We get research and development grants for it, which is awesome. But we're really just trying to help people to realize that the mind is what controls everything else. And a lot of people are focusing so heavily upon pushing themselves onwards and always looking after physical nutrition, what's good for our body. But we really need to start considering what's good for our mind, and that's what Savvy is starting the movement to doing.
That's fantastic, and best of luck with the development of your products further. And look, you've sold it very well. I enjoyed what you said and was hanging off every word, so well done.
Thank you.
In your opinion, how does Savvy Beverages, you've mentioned you're probably the first in Australia with this innovation on coffee, but how does it supersede the other market players with some of your other products as well?
So initially, if we're taking it to like a drink frontier upon what makes it a little bit different, is the idea of some products in the market will only just have very basic ingredients. It'll be synthetic and artificial sources of caffeine, sub-therapeutic amounts of other ingredients, which means they're in such a low dose they're not going to work. So being able to go ahead and revolutionize the space and reimagine the idea of think what you drink was very easy for us. So we started preparing with an actual drink that's going to directly compete with energy drinks. So we wanted this to go ahead and be the replacement for the V's, I shouldn't call them out really, but the main energy drinks in the market. And then the idea as well is 1 in 3 Australians have coffee pods at home. And with our particular coffee pods as well, what's different about them, aside from the benefits in each coffee, is the coffee pods themselves are made of plants. 3.5 million Australians pop one of these every single day, which is great. However, they're usually foil or plastic made by the main coffee pod providers. I'm not going to mention names again, which means 1.2 billion of these goes to landfill every year. If you think about the amount of space that is, that's 60 full skip bins worth of these going to landfill every year. Ours are made of plants, which biodegrade and they're recyclable, which means they turn into nothing after about 10 weeks. So what I mean when I say we're trying to take on other products and why we're different is other products, they have a small benefit. They provide that boost, but it comes with a crash. So, and same with the coffee side of it. It's good, but we always are aware of the negatives. So we thought, how can we make the benefits even greater and take away the deficits or the downsides? And through science, we can do this. I was surprised that it hasn't been really touched on before, because when I started speaking to nutritionists, they were so excited realizing what we're trying to do that they all started rallying together and bouncing ideas off each other to go ahead and formulate, because the idea was simple. It was straightforward, and the fact that it hasn't been done before we all thought was a bit strange, but we thought, great, what an amazing opportunity, what a hole in the market. And sometimes the best idea is the most simple, that have just been sitting in front of us the whole time and just waiting for someone to go ahead and actually do it. So we're delighted to be the people that are trying to go ahead and provide that better sense of energy and balanced energy, which is being able to get through the day and not push yourself into the ground, but instead just be able to get through the tasks that are at hand, but with a smile on your face, with an improved and balanced mood, and keeping stress at bay, which is unfortunately one of the largest issues, not just facing Australia, but facing the world. So if we can address stress while improving mood and giving people balanced energy, we're doing what we've set out to do, which is great.
Yes, you're exactly right. Some of the innovations are having huge impacts in many industries, and in the nutrascience industry such as yours, it's great to see the East and West coming together to make these great products, with ginseng and ashwagandha being some of the Eastern natural medicine herbs, perhaps, that
Correct.
you're adding into the drinks.
So they're ancient. The idea is it's ancient science from the East, marrying with contemporary science from the West and creating an amazing product that is effectively the epitome of intelligent nutrition, as it's using ancient and current wisdom.
Wonderful. And you're putting this all to work to help us optimise our mental sphere. Mark, what are your near-term goals for Savvy Beverages?
So effectively, we're re-releasing the drink. We're putting it into a can. Initially, it was released in a bottle. We're making a few changes to the appearance. We've updated the formula, made it a bit better. We've also altered it so it's now going to be in a can as opposed to glass. Reason why is Australia doesn't do a great job with recycling glass. It used to, but now it's not, so we're switching to can. We're always trying to chase an environmental, sustainable approach as much as everything else. So that's where that going is. 2 flavors, slightly carbonated, so we're hoping to have them released end of August, start of September, so very exciting. The next, in terms of the coffee side of it, is we're releasing a 3rd variation where we're going to have an instant coffee. So if you don't happen to have pods, not a problem. We'll be able to have an instant coffee which you can take with you on the run. We're also going to have a ground coffee bean. So if you're the kind of person who doesn't have a pod machine, but you have a regular coffee machine, perfect. So those are the extensions in the near future for us. It's quite exciting. There's a lot of really interesting movements as well with how we're planning on releasing this from a marketing perspective, because as I said, it's all very raw. The idea is phenomenal, but we're really just trying to figure out how to explain this to people, because a lot of customers, they've never heard of nootropics or adaptogens, and why should they? So we're trying to figure out how can we explain what we've done, which is very much based on not just regular science, but neuroscience, which is very complicated. So trying to explain all of that and make it in a really easy to understand way, so someone can pick up this and go, I know why this is better than everything else. So we're trying to figure out the simplest way to do that. So that's a bit of fun. It's another challenge.
Exactly. Well, thanks for sharing your passion for your project, Mark. That's all the time we have for, unfortunately, on the show. Was there any final comments you'd like to share with the viewers before we wind up?
I guess the last would be the fact that so prior to starting all of this, I was actually working as a lawyer. I was a commercial lawyer for Clayton Utz, and that's where the idea kind of came from at the time. I was, just like many people, I guess, feeling overworked and consistently stressed and a bit burnt out. So the whole idea of this came from the need of, I wish there was more than just energy drinks and coffee as a means of energy. So that's what really begun it, as I started searching and looking and speaking to people, and after many, many years realizing there's so many options that you can do. And so I realized nothing had actually created an all-in-one. So that's what we set out to do. So my advice to people would be, if you find an issue or you find a challenge that you'd like to overcome, don't feel that just because you have a skill set that's so far from what actually you want to do, you can do it. I spent the night studying nutrition to eventually I knew enough to be able to quit my job, to start a company in an entirely different industry, all from scratch, having no idea what I'm doing. I had to move out of where I was living to go ahead and move back in with my parents. In your late 20s, it's not a cool thing to do, but I had to try and sacrifice a lot to go ahead and chase this dream. And now that it's just about to start, it's very exciting. So for anyone who's considering with a budding idea, I implore you to explore all options, and don't just feel that because you have a skill set in one area or another, it stops you from chasing a dream in a brand new area. You can find a way to do it.
Thank you so much for sharing those inspirational words, Mark. I totally agree. Really appreciate your time today.
Thanks so much, 𝐻𝐴ge. Have a good day.
Thank you. And viewers, if you've just joined us, we just had a discussion with Mr. Mark Curry, the founder and CEO of Savvy Beverages, keeping the dream alive. There you can view the full interview on our YouTube channel, 𝐊𝐴 Media. And we are about to present to you more live market updates, so please stay watching 𝐊𝐴 TV. And as we say, stay apprised and invest wise with 𝐊𝐴.